And look, I'm sorry, but Tim Baker sent in a submission and somehow our system didn't receive it. So Tim, could you come forward and we'll submit. Hand out hard copies of a submission, but we won't have had the benefit of having read it first.
That's okay.
So you alone are the only one who hasn't had your submission read before you come to the table.
Yeah, Dion had a sneak preview.
Right, far away.
Well, hello all. I'm here today to talk about peer pressure. And I just ask that all you people today don't bow down to peer pressure, but after you've heard all the facts and questions and talked to a lot of people, make up your own minds without looking at peer pressure. So I think I'm probably the only one speaking against the hot water pools in Brighton. And one of the reasons I believe that is because people I speak to who agree with me don't want to talk out for different reasons. And part of that is peer pressure. So saltwater pools in Brighton, the reasons I don't agree with them is I think the best asset for Brighton is the car park between the surf club and the whale pool. Thousands of people go up there and park their cars and look out and take your bodyboards out and play with the kids. It's nice and safe getting back to your car. So that's I believe that's the best asset in Brighton. We don't want to lose that. To think it's going to regenerate Brighton, I don't believe that the shops are going to get any more patronage through people going to salt pools. Currently 10,000 people a month go on the pier, but do they shop in the mall? Unlikely.
No, I know who.
I don't believe that 75,000 people in the first year and 50,000 people in the second year are going to be going to the pools. And at 50,000 people a year, it's going to cost the ratepayers $100,000. Sorry, it's going to cost, if there's 50,000 people, it's going to cost up to $2 million a year for OPEX from the ratepayer. So what I'm suggesting is, let's not put saltwater pools there. If you read that later on, you'll see also about the questionnaire, the summary done by DCL, and I pull it to pieces as well. But look at that yourself and decide for yourselves. I think also the council from last term put DCL in a hard position of trying to create something they can't do. And that's where I'm coming from. I'm speaking as an individual because as a board, the board as a whole have supported this hot water pools. Me as an individual, I'm acting as an individual. So instead of hot water pools, I just put down some thoughts, and one of my thoughts is, if you're going to build a 200 square metre shop in Brighton, what's it going to cost? $2 million? Let's say it's $1 million. How much do you want to get back on your return? 10%? So $100,000? Is somebody going to pay $100,000 rent? I suggest not. So what I'm suggesting is, let's do the whale pool, of course. Don't worry about warm water or hot water. Kids don't mind cold water. And the playground area and that green space, for example, why not build a big hill and put 12 slides on it? So my kids will say, come on Dad, let's go and play in the water pool and on the slides and go to the beach, and then we may go to the mall as well afterwards. So why not put the other $16 million into the mall? We've got a great master plan. It's got no money with it, but it's a really good plan. So why not put some seeding money into foundations? So say to those people who are going to be building those companies, say, look, we'll pay for your foundations, but you cap the rents at a reasonable rent so people can afford to rent there, at least the buildings, and there'll be a win-win for everybody. So that's all I've got to say. I'll take questions for 1 minute and 34 seconds.
Far away. David.
Thanks, Tim. Look, I absolutely support your right to submit against the hot salt water pools, but what I'm interested in, you've spoken to many people and many agree with what I'm saying, but look, we've had a number of submissions, surveys commissioned by individuals, commissioned by DCL, commissioned by council, all of which come back supporting the inclusion of hot salt water pools in New Brighton. How many, and how do you justify your comment that there are a number of people in opposition when we clearly see that surveys that have been done would suggest that
Because what I've done is I've asked them,
80% plus.
do you think there's going to be swimming? Yes. Well, if there's not, do you support them? What? Do you realise it's not seawater going in there? What do you mean? No, they're going to add salt water. Oh, we know chlorine though. Yes, salt water has chlorine. So people aren't aware of what's being talked about by DCL into what is going to be there. And I know there's going to be consultation and stuff like that, but this is what we've been told at DCL meetings, is some more facts than they know. So that's talking to people about those things is how I come to that conclusion.
But you would agree that you're in quite a minority.
When you wanted a water park in Brighton, there was 20,000 signatures. Who would today support a water park in Brighton with 20,000 signatures? Would you bow down to that pressure today?
Probably the same 20,000.
Exactly. Thank you.
There you go. You've had your 5 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
No, I also agree that with what David said, absolute right to present their point of view.